112 at the Oaks, Bay Area.
112 at the Oaks. Okay.
Yeah.
112 at the Oaks. Yep.
So villain opens from middle position
How deep are you
to
guys, by the
12.
way? How deep?
Uh, I'm sitting at around 500.
Okay.
So the initial opener has been covered by a little bit, like
Okay.
maybe 525, 550.
So 500
And then,
effective. Okay.
yeah. So villain opens from MP. The guy, player next to Act, 3 bets to 25. And he's sitting at around 400.
All right. So MP1 opens to 12, low jack to 25 at about, what, 400 you said? Something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay. So a min 3 bet here.
yeah.
Okay.
So we call the cutoff with 10 of hearts, 10 of spade. And I played with this to play a villain before. The opener is very, very loose pre-flop, like calling loose. Like even from up front, he will open like suited 3 gappers.
Yeah.
So my plan when I saw the hand was like, if I see anybody calling in between, or even if nobody called in between, I was gonna 3-bet him. Like, so every time I play with him, I do that because he open loose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's not much. Again, from a fundamental perspective, so we can get the theory down, you're really not supposed to be cold calling a whole lot of 3 bets in between. And the reason why is because the MP1 can 4-bet, right? You know, if the MP1 knows what's going on, he can 4-bet really wide, and you're basically forced to fold out a lot. Now, in reality, at low stakes games, you don't have to worry about that as much, if at all, to be honest with you, when there's basically no 4-bet bluffing frequency whatsoever. And I've made this exploit in Live at the Bike. I've talked about how I will sometimes cold call hands that you wouldn't, in theory, call to a cold call a 3-bet because I knew the opener wouldn't 4-bet. Like this guy Big John that I always play with, like he's not even 4-betting ace king, so it doesn't matter if I had a hand like 5-6 suited or set mining with tens here. What I find interesting here is that how often do people 3-bet in this game? And also, what do you think this like min click 25 represents in terms of a 3-bet? Because I could, if you're saying the MP1 super wide and now and the low jack like clicks it up, I mean, I still might 4-bet here. You could make it like 60. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that, because MP1's going to call, and it would actually be better to get this hand heads up. And it looks like you have a stack depth enough where if it went from 12 to 25 and you made it, say, like 80, if the low jack shoved all in, you just fold, right? You're sort of raise folding for equity protection for value. So I can sometimes get on board with cold calling in certain situations in games like this for 3-bet,
Yeah.
but I think I might 4-bet this one though.
Yeah. But I mean, I also play with both of the villains plenty of time where I know low jack has a sizing tell. If the hand was any stronger, like if it was kings or aces, the sizing would be a little bit bigger.
Well, so isn't that a reason? So that's a reason to 4-bet tens then, right? Because his hand's probably going to be like ace king, ace queen, and you want to actually get those hands to fold, number one, but you definitely want the MP1 out. You see, you'd rather have ace king and ace king, and ace queen just fold because there's enough dead money out there to take it down where they're going to have, you know, those hands are going to have equity against you on the flop, but you also want the MP1 out. And if he's super loose, see, when we examine this configuration, if I have a super loose guy opening, like you said, from MP1, and then low jack's got a sizing tell where he's 3-betting as a click up where it's not aces and kings, then all things point to a 4-bet with tens. Do you understand with my logic there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, but you call, okay?
But anyway,
yeah,
we call.
Yep, and then I assume MP1 calls, right?
Yeah, MP1 calls, so I know he doesn't have a strong hand.
Right,
so,
right.
3 ways to flop.
Yep.
It came 9 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 5 of clubs.
9 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 5 of clubs. Okay, so you have the overpair.
Yep.
Yep.
So check, low jack bets 50. I'd call.
Check low jack 50 into like 75, right? Hero calls.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm calling only once. Like if MP1 calls and then the low jack bets again on the turn, I'm folding.
Well, you know what's your name? What's your name?
Sam.
Sam. You know what's interesting about this spot is that sometimes at the ultra low stakes, and I actually remember this, like, uh, I gave Veronica some shit about this from Stones back before she actually got much, much better at No Limit. She kind of reminded me of a low stakes player, and then she started, studying the game, where she would just mindlessly c-bet boards, no matter what the texture was, no matter what the multi-way situation is. See, when you look at this board and you look at the low jack betting 50 in a 3-bet pot into two people on 9-8-5, if the guy has any idea what's going on, he should actually be way more skewed to have value hands here, as opposed to like having like ace king or ace queen. But with that being said, I've seen a lot of just mindless c-betting at the low stakes, where it just could be like ace king just because he doesn't know what to do. So normally from a more
guy is one of them.
Okay, yeah, so more normally from a more thoughtful player, I would think that this would tend to be a hand, but it might not be, right, in this particular case. So okay, so you call, and then what does the MP1 do?
MP1 calls.
MP1 also calls. Okay.
Yeah.
So
3-way to turn, six of spade.
So I have the pot at 225. Turn is the 6 of spades. Okay, so now it's a one-liner here, right? One-liner to a straight?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
So it went check to me.
Okay.
So now I really know, like, the 3-better doesn't really have an overpair. I think he just goes with it.
Now wait a minute. Now this is why, again, I remember when you emailed this, and this is partially why I chose one of these hands, because I thought that your logic was off a little bit here, and I wanted to explain why I thought that, right? Do you think that the pre-flop raiser, even if they've got aces and kings, now we said the pot's 225, right? And you guys both start with about 500, right? And the other guy starts with about 400. So you guys have like 400 left in your stack. The pot's 225. Do you think the pre-flop raiser is just going to continue to fire with aces and kings on a 9-8-5-6 board, which puts a one-liner to a 7 out there?
Well, judging by how I played with him before, I think, like, if it was me, I probably would check. But I think he would have a higher frequency to just go with it.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing if you're heads up, if he's heads up with you, but like he's got the fish in there too. Like, I don't know. I see people checking here all the time. He's losing a 2-pair. So that's where I think that your logic is a little bit off in saying that you don't think he has an overpair. Now, I don't know what you're playing, because I thought at first you're like, well, I'm going to start a bluff here. Now, remember, it is a 3-bet pot, and you did cold call, so you don't have a ton of 7s in this spot. So if I was him and I checked with aces and kings here and you bet and the fish folded, I'd have a hard time folding, because I'd be like, what 7s do you have in here as a cold call to a 3-bet? Now, if I were you and I was in this spot, I think I would probably just check, because I don't think that the guy is just going to fold if he does have an overpair for the same reasons. Basically, I think I would check and take my equity. Now, it sounds to me like you think you're putting in a value bet here. Is that right?
But yeah, like like a protection bet, because I think when MP1 calls, he has draws, like all kinds of diamond draws, or like some kind of a 1-pair hand.
Yeah.
On the flop. So that's why I bet. But I think I bet too big. I went ahead and it checked to me, and then I bet 150. I think like somewhere around 80 to 100 would be good enough.
Yeah, well, listen, if you're making a protection bet, okay, then the idea is that you don't need to bet this much, right? Like you can probably, put in 75, probably 50 to 75 as a protection bet. I still think it's too thin personally, but yeah, you're right about your sizing here being off for sure if it's a protection bet. So you bet 150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet 150. MP1 calls, and then the low jack folded.
It's kind of funny because I don't know if you heard the last hand that we had, but this could be a situation where you actually accidentally get the best hand to fold, because when you bet, like if I'm your primary villain here with 3-bet preflop, when you bet the turn and then the fish calls, now I probably can't call with an overpair, right? Bet call, how am I going to call with like aces or kings? And if the fish is so bad that he's calling with a draw, you actually might accidentally win this hand, getting the best hand to fold.
You know, at 1-1-2, so like people they look at aces, then they can't fold.
They can't fold.
I seriously don't think. Yeah, they can't fold. Like I seriously think if the low jack has aces,
on 9-8-5-6, 9-8-5-6. Okay.
They can't fold. Like
okay. All right. So the pot's 520. So the pot now is 525. You bet 150. So the MP1 has about like 175 left, something like that.
No, he has more than me. Probably like 300.
No, excuse me. I mean the fish, right? Isn't the MP1 the fish?
MP1, yeah. He probably has like 300 left.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. My bad.
Yeah.
You're right. The MP1. Okay. So he's got 300 left, right? The LG. Okay. All right. So let's go to the river.
The river came in offsuit 5.
An offsuit 5. Okay.
Yeah. He instantly just checked to me.
So it's 9-8-5-6-5. He's got about 300 left. There's a one-liner out there to a 7. And the question is what? Because this guy's a fish, how thin do you want to go for value?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a fish though. He's loose, but he's still like when I see him at the room, he's still winning. Even though sometimes when he loses, he tilts.
Yeah,
but he's not like completely clueless.
Well, I mean, you would think that this guy would probably jam a 7 on the turn.
I think he jams a 7. I don't think he has a set on the flop because he would raise because it's so wet.
Right.
I think he might still have a 7 on the.
Well, I mean, if you think he's very, very weighted towards draws, here's the thing. I mean, again, I know what you're saying. Like it's 1-1-2, right? So it's just really optimistic looking at this for us to think that this guy has called on the turn with a 9 when there's a one-liner out there to a straight and the pre-flop 3-better is yet to act. I mean, in order for you to – listen, I feel like I'm the thinnest value better in the world. You've got to make your money from making thin value bets, right? But in order for him to have something to pay you off with here, it would be like a 9. I don't know. Like he's going to call the turn on 9-8-5-6, one-liner to a 7 with the guy left to act, and he's going to also call the river. I think you're probably right on in the fact that his range is just super skewed towards basically missed draws. And he might have the occasional 7 that he just check called with. So I think I would check it back. Even though I like making thin value bets, I think this would be going way too thin. What ended up happening?
At the time, I also think he has some kind of like a weird 2-pair too. Like I've literally seen him open like 7-4 suited. Like
so
9-6 suited,
right. So he could have. That would make more sense than just a 9. So he could have like a hand like 9-8, 9-6. That's very, I mean, but then he still has to call you though on the river, right? Yeah. He gets counterfeit in the sense that a 5 comes, he doesn't think you have 10s, but like, is he going to call down at the end with a one-liner to a straight?
Anyway, yeah.
So what ended up happening?
I thought about it for like 20, 30 seconds. I'm like, the 5 pairing the lowest card. I mean, I might get a chance to get called by like some kind of 2-pair or a 9. So I just jam 275 into like 525.
See, I think that's a little bit extreme because you have to like, again, I gotta be honest with you, the only 2 pairs that I see that this guy has that would be played like this was 9-6 and 8-6 because he just overcalled the flop. So I kind of throw out 9-8, like that's going to be fast played off, which would be top 2. Yeah. 9-6 and 8-6, right? But I mean, boy, that's a huge jump too. And now you're going to try to have him call off with 8-6 or 9-6 here. For this sizing, which is a jam, which is probably very, very strong at 1-1-2. I mean, this is a gigantic pot at 1-1-2. I think it's just too thin. What ended up happening?
He did call. He did have like 9-6 suited.
He called with 9-6.
Like, yeah. He tanked for like 5 minutes, like maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, hey, there it is. I mean, that could be a little bit of positive variance for you in the sense that he ended up having a hand and he paid you off. I think that
that is too thin, right?
I don't know. I mean, it would be hard to say because you look at it like, how does he have a 5? How does he have a 7? If he just check calls.
I would only do it against a guy who I know who would have some kind of weird 2-pair. I wouldn't like at any normal player at 1-1-2. I wouldn't do this.
Right. Interesting call though, Sam. Thanks for the call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.